Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm the HiPop Professor, and today I would like to showcase some Frank Thomas Big Hurt cards from my PC. It's not very big, and none of the cards are actually all that expensive, all things considered. In fact, I don't think I paid over $50 for any card, but they're all cool cards, I love them, and I'd love to share them with you. So let's turn the camera around and look at some Big Hurt baseball cards. Alright, so we're going to start with a couple of cards I have in my top loader binder. Smaller cards, insert cards, things like that, and then I'll move to the more significant ones that I do have in slabs to finish up. So we'll start with the top loader cards and we'll go in chronological order, starting with a rookie card. This is one of my very favorite rookie cards of Frank Thomas. It's one that has probably the most nostalgia for me growing up, and I absolutely love this card. It's a great example of this card. I've thought about sending this in to get graded, but you know, it's one of those cards, 90 score, where these cards, even if this were like a PSA 10, it might be like a $35, $40 card. Like, it's not really, you know, all that much more than the cost of grading. And so, as it is, I was able to pick up one of these for like $1. So, you know, same with this. You know, it's a really nice card, beautiful, sharp card. You know, at some point, someday, would I consider getting a partial blacklist of the no name on front? Maybe, I don't know. But, you know, for now, we'll content ourselves with just a really nice, sharp copy of the classic 90 Topps. All right, and so those were 1990 issues that we had here. Chronologically, as we are going on 91, we have one entry from 91, and of course, the Stadium Club set was just amazing when this came out. No one had seen high quality, glossy, borderless designs, high quality photography, and it was amazing. And so this card still, I mean, I remember this card used to be like a $20, $25 card back in the day. It was considered like an honorary rookie card, like a first Stadium Club card. It was quite significant. Then 93, you know, we had some other inserts come in there. Frank Thomas, you know, he was sort of the spokesperson for this 93 Leaf set. So he had his own insert that was there. You know, he was working with Leaf and Donruss and was sort of the you know, the face of that particular brand and that particular product. Here's a beautiful 93 Donruss long ball leaders. Really cool card. Really nice little insert here with the there's actually embossing on this baseball design. If we can get this to focus, there we go. You can really see what that baseball is popping out of the card, and it's really nice. So, beautiful card, love it. Moving on, we have a 93 Score, the franchise. Really tough card to pull. Back in 93, we got about one of these per box, and a pretty big subset, pretty big insert set of 28 cards. So true odds are kind of tough to pull a big star player like this, and of course the dark edges, dark border makes this a you know, tough one to get in good condition. But this one's pretty sharp. All right, moving on. Got the Bomb Squad from 94 triple play, and I don't know. It's a cool design. The entire card is sort of a sepia with this bronze foil. Love it. Bomb Squad. Really great card. Also, the first year they had, in 94, was the first year they had the statistical standouts. And that would become a perennial insert for quite some time. Just love it. Then we have our first Dufex entry, and here we have the beautiful Church's Chicken Showstoppers from 94. And this was, of course, I believe was made by Pinnacle. And this was actually given out at a show. And yeah, you can see it's a Pinnacle Brands, of course. But just a beautiful card. This one displays 0 hulking, and yes, Dufex cards can hulk. But this one displays none of that. It's a very sharp card. It's a really cool looking insert from 94. Just like the Score, the franchise was kind of an understated insert, we had the Cycle was also one that was, well, it it's a little bit muted. It doesn't, it's not as flashy as some of the other inserts were becoming at this time. But again, dark borders, dark edges, tough to find these in really solid, strong condition. And this one's awesome. This one's fantastic. I love it. Really happy to have this card. These cards, like back in the day, were like pretty big cards. Like, today you can pick them up for just a couple dollars. But I always feel like I'm getting a big discount because this was, there existed a time when this was a $30, $40 card. And that was like back in 1994 dollars. So, speaking of 94, here's 94 Fleer Lumber Company. I'm a sucker for wooden cards, and while this card is not like made of wood like other ones are, it's got that design to it. And so I think it's fantastic. Lumber Company. Moving on, we've got our next Dufex entry. We have the Pinnacle Museum Collection from 94 Pinnacle. And this is sort of the inaugural, very first full set Dufex parallel. This was not a partial parallel like the Starburst would become in years after this. This was the entire honking set was made with this Dufex technology. Just amazing. And yeah, you got a little Museum Collection logo on the back to tell you all about it, which is more than they even did with the artist proofs, which were way tougher to pull. All right, then one of my favorite sets here, 95 Emotion. And here's a Masters insert. The quality of these cards was very, very high. I have to think, looking at a pop report, the percentage of gems that come from this set have to be pretty high. But the Masters insert was not so tough to get. But what was tougher was the N-Tense. Beautiful, beautiful etched foil. And we have the hollow foil background here with the N for N-Tense. This was about a 1 per box insert. So that was a pretty tough one. Pretty exclusive. But these are really cool cards. All right, and then we have yet more Dufex because I like Dufex. Here's, the Big Hurt stepping into the stadium. I love stuff like this. Back when I was a kid. Just fantastic. Got that Museum Collection logo right there. How can you not love these cards? I mean, look at this. These are wild. And so, so Frank Thomas, he was not just the face of Leaf in 93 and 94, but this is a variant of 95 Leaf. And, he was in Frank Thomas's Big Hurt Baseball. This is a promo card that was inserted into the video game. Just like Ken Griffey Jr. had his own card as well for the Super Nintendo. Big Hurt Baseball, as you can see, there's no White Sox logo or uniform depicted on his hat, no logo. So this was technically an unlicensed card. They couldn't say, but you can see the video game company Acclaim Entertainment on there. And so, yeah, they have Chicago, but they don't say anything about White Sox. So how about that? Yeah, Frank Thomas's Big Hurt Baseball. So real, it hurts. So that's a cool variant from that 95 Leaf set. Here's another issue for the 95 Leaf set, and this is the insert set called the Slideshow. They had one in 94 where they actually looked more like an actual slideshow, square slides. This time they did a little take on that, giving these wedges. And if you look carefully, it says we have a peel here. It says remove protective peel. And I kept it on. So, here's the 95 Leaf Slideshow. And of course, you hold this up to the light, you can see the images of Frank Thomas. So pretty cool stuff happening with acetate in 95. 96, this is those times we were really, this was insert mania here. 96 Donruss, the hit list. Tough to get this one on the light. It's a foil card and numbered out of 10,000. It seemed like every single insert in 96 Donruss was numbered to something. 10,000 or 5,000. This is when the nuclear arms race of serial numbering cards had truly started and got underway by now, and then they were taking their race down to the one of ones, where a Flair showcase would eventually lead our hobby. Look at this beautiful one more Dufex issue, because why not? Will it be the last one? I don't know. We'll have to see. But beautiful Team Pinnacle from 96. Pinnacle, we've got the first baseman from the AL, Frank Thomas, on the Dufex side, and Jeff Bagwell for the NL on the non-Dufex side. And I believe they, this year, unlike the year before where they had Dufex on both parts, both versions, this year it was just the AL, the American League side, had the Dufex, and that was it. So, if you're looking for the other Dufex Bagwell side, I got some bad news for you. And then, moving on to 97, here's a beautiful Score of the Franchise. Now, there's two variations of this card. It's very subdued. There's some cool embossing with these little leaves coming up the side, and there's a glow-in-the-dark version of this. This is not the glow-in-the-dark version of this particular card, but I would like to obtain one at some point. But it's a really cool parallel of this insert. And these weren't the easiest inserts to get either. They were not super common. Here's a cool one called the Shades. And so here's a neat little die cut depicting players who, well, wore sunglasses. Man, they were, yeah, Pinnacle was something. That was quite an innovative company for the 90s, tell you what. And here we have a gold medallion from Ultra in 98. Pretty straightforward. Looks a lot like the platinum medallion, but it is not. 99, we have a beautiful dot matrix power player. Holofoil, wild card. I do love this insert set. Really affordable considering the degree of shine you get on these cards. And one more gold medallion just for kicks. 2000 Ultra. And that wraps it up for the top loader portion of this video. Let's go ahead and move along and see what we have in our stack of slabs here. So again, starting with first things first, chronologically, here's his biggest rookie card if you don't count the no name on front. There's a 90 Leaf. Absolutely love this set. Absolutely love this card. Super sharp. Looks really great in this super clear CSG slab. I'm a big fan of CSG slabs. I think, and CGC now, I really think that they are one of the cleanest slabs out there. I think the clarity is only rivaled by MagPro, and that's it. I think they are far clearer than Beckett, far clearer than PSA. They have a better design, I think, than PSA slabs. But for some reason, the hobby has chosen PSA as its value leader. So it is what it is. And so moving on, from 90 to 92, of course. I'd be remiss if I didn't borrow this from my Diamond King collection. I do have an autographed Diamond King here for 92 Donruss. And this was the card that got me back into the hobby post-pandemic. This was the one. This was the one that captured my imagination. This is the one that inspired me. You know, having been out of the hobby for about 20 years and seeing this card and seeing it in a Beckett holder and the nostalgia I had for Beckett and beautiful authenticated autograph, and I just couldn't even believe that something like this, could be had for, around $50. And like I said, nothing in here is really more than $50. You can pick up everything that I've got here for about that price point or less. All right, now I do have to show, this is a beautiful 92 Fleer Rookie Sensations, Frank Thomas. This is from the Jumbo Packs exclusively. I actually do have 2 copies of this card now, and so I'm going to be taking one of them with me to the Philly show. And so I don't actually need 2 copies of the card, but I came into another one. There was an offer I couldn't refuse. So I certainly don't need 2 of them. So I will move one of them along, and we'll go from there. Beautiful cards. I absolutely love these. All right, and next we have a card that I particularly love. It does not have a lot of value, but I don't care because this is just one of the most nostalgic inserts for me. I love this 93 Topps Black Gold. When I remember pulling these cards from packs, specifically I pulled this card from a pack when I was a kid. This is not the exact same copy of that card that I pulled, but I have memories. I was shopping with my mother, and I opened this pack in a shoe store while she was shopping for shoes, and I kid you not, I pulled this Frank Thomas Black Gold from 93 Topps, and right behind it, they had an instant winner. That was the, they had the A group, the B group, the C group, and the D group winner cards. Well, I pulled the CD winner, and it was like stuck to the back of this Frank Thomas card. And so I sent that in, and they sent me 22 Black Gold cards from that set. And so that was like core memory for me, which for like a 50-cent Topps pack, that was a mega hit. Anyway, but I did send this in on my own. I thought this had a chance at a PSA 10, so I sent it in, and it came back a 9. But still, I absolutely love this card. I thought it was so innovative. I love the sparkle, love the shine, and the design is just epic. I absolutely loved it. Okay, moving on to 94. We got one entry here, of course. Looking at the Diamond King collection, this beautiful cracked ice, the red cracked ice Diamond King. Look at that awesome auto. The colors are so bold. The Dick Perez artwork. Man, every time I see these cards, I get giddy inside. I don't know. I just love it. It's fantastic. It's epic. They don't make art cards like this anymore. I don't know. Man, just fantastic stuff. All right, moving on to 95. This is one of my favorite editions of last year when I was looking at this. Look at this. Statistical standouts from 95 Leaf. Man, these cards were a big deal. And these were a big deal for a number of reasons. So they were numbered on the back, and unlike the ones numbered out of 10,000, these were only numbered out of 5,000, which meant that they were like the tougher, the higher tier, higher grade of insert, so to speak. But you can see the embossing. So it was a big deal because they had all these baseball stitches embossed on these cards. You can see it from the back. And then, aside from that, the front of the card was textured. You can see the texture on this, and it was meant to feel like a baseball. So it wasn't actual leather, but it was like this faux leather design, print pattern, that put that kind of a baseball texture on it. And so that was just super cool. That plus this facsimile signature that's in holofoil. Man, this is, to this day, just remains one of the best insert designs of the 90s. And I just love it. This is what peak insert design looks like to me. It's fantastic. Speaking of peak insert design of the 90s, well, I just got this back in my grading order the other day, and boy, look at this beautiful 95 Pinnacle, white hot. There he is, Big Hurt, and just the way that these blue flames shimmer under the light with that etched Dufex foil. Man, that is epic. Oh, I could stare at these cards all day. Man, these cards are so cool. I love them. Yeah, I'm a little bit obsessed with this set, but you know what? They are really awesome cards. I don't apologize. I think everyone should own some of these white hot cards. The red hots are cool. They're nice foil inserts, but the white hot have the Dufex on them. And what's interesting about this is nobody actually knows what the stated odds were. They didn't publish pack odds for the white hot. It was almost like a stealth insert. They even tell you that they were there. There's no pack odds. There's no stated print run or anything. But they are defects, and they're hard to get in high grade, so I was really happy when this came back a PSA 9. Whew, pumped about that. Okay, winding down. We only have 2 more cards here. And let's take a look. 96. We have 1 entry from 96 and 1 from 97. Woo! Here's a nice sparkle shine. You know, I like the shiny stuff. We haven't seen too much in the way of refractors here, so we'll have to fix that for these last 2 entries. So here's a beautiful 96 Bowman's Best Preview Atomic Refractor. This is the first ever atomic refractor made. Now, you might say that the base set had the square atomic refractor pattern, which it's true, and the sparkly kind of the previews are a little easier to pull from a pack odd standpoint, and that's true. That is absolutely true. But these are so beautiful. These cards are just fantastic. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I saw this available on eBay, and I picked it up for not that much more than the cost of grading. I think I got this for like just under 30 bucks. And this is a PSA 9. So I just got a really, really solid deal on this card. And I was like, you know what? I can't turn that down. I'm going to have to pick this up because how cool is this? Whew. And speaking of refractor shine, we're going to go out with one more that I just love. Look at this. Bowman's Best International Refractor, Atomic Refractor. How cool is this? Oh, the shine on this card. And usually this atomic pattern is accompanied by some very severe hulking. This copy does not show that. In fact, this copy appears really, really solid, really sharp for this particular insert set. And I do say insert set because this was actually the insert, I believe, from regular 97 Bowman. Yeah, it says 97 Bowman on there, not Bowman's Best, but it's a sort of a Bowman's Best preview, Atomic International. But super great card. Absolutely love this card. Man, look at how that hits. And that's what we have here. We're going to go out a couple of these beauties right here. Oof. Man, how do I decide? They're all so shiny. They're all so beautiful. I'll go out with a few of these too. There we are. Let's move it down that way a little bit. There we are. And we'll go out with Rookie Sensations. There we go. All right. Well, thank you for coming along for the ride, and thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.